You expecting somebody?
Yes.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Neon Valley Podcast with your host, Tyler.
That's me. I'm
and
Tyler.
Mitchell. And Mitchell. That's me. I'm the other one.
Yeah.
Today's episode is Duck Soup. I am so excited for this.
Soup.
This was my recommendation to you. Any opening statements?
This movie is rampant with misogyny,
I welcome you with open arms.
Is that so? How late do you stay open?
animal abuse, poor taste,
I wanted to get rid of habeas corpus, but I should have gotten rid of you instead.
and goddamn it if it isn't hilarious.
Why, he's dead.
I'll bet he's just using that as an excuse.
It's actually a pretty fun movie for being 93 years old. I think we figured out.
Yeah, it was it 1934?
1933, I believe. So this is starring the Marx Brothers, not the communist one. Don't worry. He was the
Chill out, America.
Yeah, he was the fourth brother. That was a little weird. I guess fifth, actually.
I was gonna say no. There is four brothers.
Yeah. What's your memories with this movie? Because you're the one who suggested it. How long ago did you watch this?
I was probably 5 or 6, but I could have even have been like 1 or 2. So my grandparents loved this movie. And I remember being a little kid at my grandparents' house. It's funny because watching this, I'm like, I get where a lot of my very ridiculous non sequitur humor sometimes comes from.
Hello? No, he's not in. All right, I tell him. Goodbye. That was for you.
I'm sorry I'm not in. I wanted to have a long talk with you.
Is like I watched a lot of these kind of movies as a kid growing up. So it was just always, what is like the outlandish thing to say in this scene? In a way, a lot of this translates to hip hop in the sense of like the way metaphors are done and wordplay.
That's true. Groucho would have been a great rapper. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, you're saying the same thing in a different way or with a different meaning that makes it ridiculous over the top. And it clearly had a big influence on my personality growing up.
The word smithery in this is so impressive. It made me want to watch it twice. I watched a few scenes again.
I think I'm going to watch it again.
I don't have much experience with Groucho Marx personally. My grandparents were Abbott and Costello people, so I watched a lot of their types of comedy, which was a lot of fast talking wordsmith like that, but it wasn't quite as like sarcastic and like sardonic in a way, you know. Like I think Groucho's very sarcastic, and Abbott and Costello were more of like misunderstanding, like because they're the ones who are like the who's on first. You know, like, who's on first? What's on second?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's a very quick, it's a play on words, but the way it comes off is like, oh, we don't understand each other. It's, oh, I'm ignoring everything you're saying. I'm having my own conversation.
Oh, Groucho, which, you know what? I think we should probably get into the movie because I'm going to start talking about scenes that I liked and things that I liked and things with more specifics. So it'd probably be best for us to do that. So why don't you lead us into the intro of the movie? Actually, I'm so sorry. I think I will, because my first note is first frame, animal abuse. Putting real ducks into a flaming pot of water, probably not the best choice that you would do nowadays. But I don't think the water was actually that hot. I you know what I mean? Like, I think it's fine.
Yeah, it was probably they turned it on. They could only do it for a few seconds. They would take it out before the water actually heated up. It was probably even cold water that was in there.
It would take so long for that water to boil.
Yeah, it was like, okay, it's been sitting for 2 hours. Let's throw. Also, because the ducks would probably jump out if it was like, because then that's what I was actually wondering. I'm like, I wonder if there was any camera trick they could do where they could like do an overlay of fire on it, like
I thought
almost
the same
placing the
thing.
film over it.
I thought the same thing, but that looked too good. The way that the fire like envelops the bowl, I'm just like, that.
And it's very clear when they try to insert things, which again, very impressive for what they had pulled off in certain scenes for the time.
The tattoo scene
it was very clear.
Was pretty good. We will get it to it when we get to it, but
oh yeah,
it's pretty good.
There's one that scared me actually.
Yeah, no, I think we're thinking of the same one.
Now, what were you saying?
So from there we move on to Fredonia has no money.
No.
And they need money.
They're begging for it from the wow, I didn't put her name down. There's like a rich aristocratic woman, Tisdale, Mrs. Tisdale.
Miss Gloria Tisdale. Yeah, that's right. So what we end up learning is that there's only one man that can save the situation.
Yeah, she does agree. She agrees to give the money, but only if if there's new leadership.
Yes. And that man is Rufus T. Firefly.
Groucho Marx the man. I don't know if there's a joke within the name. I was trying to find a joke in there, but I think it's just a silly name. I like.
Yeah, same. I was like, because Rufus T. Firefly is a hilarious name. And it's funny because when he gets introduced, it's not like he's like, hey, he's a dignitary. He was in the head of banks for 100 years and has all this crazy experience. He's just the guy that she says has to be.
He was in like a news article or something. I can't remember. I actually can't remember exactly why she wanted him, but he was just in like the headline of a news article or something. And I love the musical number that goes into it because immediately I even have a note. I said the set designs are awesome. Like that first kind of.
Oh, they did a great job.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a government building necessarily, but it looks like an extravagant,
an official room.
Yeah. And it looks a bit like a stage play, you know. But I didn't realize it would be a somewhat musical, so I was a bit taken aback when they started singing, which was funny. It is done in kind of a tongue-in-cheek way,
and it's funny because the whole play on it too. I think it's really kind of making fun of like the. What's it called? Like the pomp and circus is not pomp and circus.
Pomp and circumstance.
Pomp and stay.
Pomp and circumstance.
That's what.
Yeah, okay.
Pomegranate.
Pomegranate.
Pomegranate
and circumcisions. Yeah.
It was making fun of this big, elaborate, glorious entrance that all of these leaders. So one fun fact, because I want to do some fun facts.
Okay.
Mussolini fucking hated this movie. This was banned in the country of Italy at the time.
I guess I could see how it is like weirdly politically charged for that time. It feels so innocent now, but
so it's funny. It came out during the Great Depression. So not this
sense.
is like a not so fun fact. This is the Depression fact.
Yeah,
but literally not like.
Yeah, no.
Anyways, because of that, this kind of flopped. Because everyone's like, it's too much of like a politically charged time with everything going on to like be sarcastically talking about these things.
Oh, interesting.
Which later on became like considered to be their best movie.
Okay, that kind of does put this in a little more context. That's really interesting because out of the bubble, I kind of forget that 1933, like our country was going through quite a lot of shit. The world was going through quite a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So wow, that's really interesting. But no, the biggest thing for me is they go through all of this big rigmarole about like, oh, Your Excellency, yes, they walk up to him and they're like, I will make sure to introduce you to all of the men and women of all the courts and all this. And there's all this big hoodoo, and they've been talking all political for the first like 5-10 minutes. And then he just goes, never mind that stuff, pick a card. And like I lost it. I had to pause the movie.
As chairwoman of the reception committee, I extend the good wishes of every man, woman, and child of Fredonia.
Never mind that stuff. Take a card.
And she's like, what? He's like, yeah, I've got 51 more. You can keep it. And that never comes up. I don't think it ever comes up again.
You can keep it. I've got 51 left.
I keep it. I got 51. I was like, oh, holy fuck. I forgot. Oh, it's one-liners, man. It's so good.
I feel like this is a good time to bring this up because I feel like this is what you were going to hint at before, but we didn't introduce Groucho to the movie yet. The mustache.
The mustache. That's exactly what it was.
Dude, what the fuck? It's fake? I
So it had to have been on the TV sets we were watching as kids with the makeup. Like, you're just not really noticing it. And then all of like the artwork for the movies and shows, it's a real looking mustache in comparison.
Yeah.
It's not just like painted on. So until we're watching it on higher resolution and we're like, because when you see it now, you're like,
that
oh
is so
God.
blatantly painted on. It's crazy. And like,
You can see his lip. Like,
I couldn't believe it. And like, I think it might have something to do with those old Groucho Marx glasses you grow up with. They have the big fuzzy mustache.
with the big fuzzy mustache underneath. Yeah.
If you look, he extended his eyebrows with paint.
Flashbang.
So even Groucho's eyebrows.
I didn't even. That's
And that's
actually
certain-
hilarious, though.
And while I feel the need to say this, even though I shouldn't, because I didn't get a hint of this the entire time watching it. It's something about seeing black paint on a white guy's face that did for a half a second make me go, ugh. And then I was like, well,
yeah.
it's just a mustache.
Yeah, no.
It's fine. It's fine. It's just a mustache.
It's clearly meant to just be the mustache. Yeah.
Even though I didn't watch Groucho that much, I knew him as the big fluffy mustache guy. That was the thing. It made me. I started to
It was
see if he
not
was wearing a
fluffy.
prosthetic nose. I even got in a little bit closer while I was watching the movie. I was like,
Is it even a person? It's a robot.
are you real? No, that scene is great with their interactions. I mean, we could probably go back and forth all day talking about just the lines in that scene alone. When she's talking about her dead husband, and he's like, I'm sure he's just using that as an excuse. She's like, no, I watched him die. He was in my arms. I gave him a kiss. Oh, so it was murder.
Also, I had forgotten to mention, but in my notes, he sleeps with a cigar.
I didn't even catch that.
Like, in the opening scene in his bed, he has a cigar while he's in bed asleep. Can we also talk about how he broke the fourth wall?
Oh, which part? I mean, he did it a couple times. Which part?
I say, yeah, but early on, he like looks at the. I don't remember what he says.
Oh.
But I just like clocked it early on. He did, and I was like, holy shit, this was like super early on to be breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I would actually be really curious to know what was the first movie to attempt that, because like, I think the concept obviously comes from like stage plays. I would assume where you address the crowd directly, be like,
Of course,
this guy's
because
crazy,
that-
right? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, which the fourth wall of the stage, you know, it's like you have three walls. Yeah.
The audience is the fourth wall, yeah.
Exactly. But I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious to what was the first movie to like look at the camera, and I don't know. Could you even try? Because now I think like silent films, that was like their whole thing, wasn't it? You look at the camera and you're like, well, that was crazy.
Okay, so according to the internet, Men Who Have Made Love to Me is the first film that breaks the fourth wall from 1918. What is this?
Joseph, could you clip that out of context, please?
I am so excited for Men Who Have Made Love to Me. Joseph, don't do it. You're fired.
His ability to break the fourth wall and just go naturally back into a line. He's such a quick talker. A lot of those scenes are like one takes. That's what's really impressive too. Even for the other actors to not laugh and keep it together.
Oh, dude, because you got to imagine, like, they had to have done it a few times because the physical comedy is just so funny.
It's really good. And I had one more line. I don't want to just say every line that I think is funny over and over, because it'll just be most of the lines that he says in the movie. But one that really got me is after he's talking about her with the dead husband. He says, will you marry me? Did he leave you any money? Answer the second question first. While she's talking, did you notice when he just starts like two-stepping to himself? Like he just starts
dancing up to the side. Okay, so hold on. So now we're at the part where she's asked him, he's accepted,
Yes.
and now they've kind of done the introduction.
Yeah, he's the leader of Fredonia now for some reason. The plot of this movie's pretty dumb. They don't really have a good.
But I like that and I like that they didn't put too much effort in like giving a bunch of exposition to try to create a reason. They're like, listen, we're gonna give you it, we're gonna give you the situation, and then we're just gonna move forward.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna be a lot of back lore that you're gonna need to go dig up on this. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Is when he gives his speech, it was just like, I'm going to make their lives worse. I am going to spend more money. I am going to
charge you all more and raise the taxes, and they're all cheering.
No one's allowed to have fun. No one's, and then like, I was like, it's very topical.
My question is, were they all cheering? Because this might be my ignorance of like what I'm watching from a time period, so I don't. Were they cheering because it's ridiculous for them to be cheering for those things? Because that's what was happening in the government at the time? Or are they cheering because they're the richer class who is like, yes, we're gonna make the other people poorer and like do it? Like, do you know what I mean? I couldn't quite tell what the joke was.
I was caught between it being that or it being the fact that he's in charge, so they just have to like clap at anything he says now.
Also
kind of going
fair.
with like that dictator motive of like,
okay,
well,
yes, the Mussolini angle.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah. The world war of it all, we were leading up to at the time. Damn.
But just listening off how he's gonna make it worse, and he's
so that intro is great. That establishing with Fredonia, again, the plot itself is silly, but with the political context of the era, that actually does make sense.
You don't need it to be, yeah.
And it's still relevant. I don't want to be this fucking guy, but there's a guy in office right now who very much resembles putting someone like Groucho Marx into the leading position. Insane. Misogyny and all. I do have to point that out. There's a lot of mean jokes against specifically women in this movie. There's mean jokes against everyone, of course, but it does seem to hate wives and like hate like when it's a very like old school kind of thing.
I was gonna say it's kind of like what's like the TV show is like bam boom straight to the moon, and it's like about like hitting his wife. Like
I think it's called.
It's one of the things where it goes. This is again. It does not make it okay, but it says this is of its time. Like that was what was in movies and TV shows that. Like at that time, they're like, well, yeah, the same way, like for us, if somebody was smoking a cigarette in a hospital building in the 90s, we're like,
yeah. Well,
okay.
I mean, I don't know if hating women is the same as smoking a cigarette, but I do agree with you.
It's not the same as just of being of its time.
No, I know exactly what you mean. And also, Groucho gives it this flair of like, I don't know, maybe I'm coping, but he gives it this flair of irony. I don't think that's actually what he thinks, because he seemed like a politically progressive person,
It's one of those like he's has to be over the top in every area. He couldn't be like this over the top, but he's also like this really like actually like sweet, sincere guy to women. But he's also like gave a speech about how he's going to actively destroy the country.
Yeah.
Like it's a character.
They're as valuable as your life, and that's putting him pretty cheap.
We cut to Sylvania after this. We have Fredonia and then Sylvania, which is the other world leader, I guess.
Rivaling country that, yeah.
Yeah, because I wasn't even sure. I was like, is it a country? Is it a continent? I don't even know. It could be a city. I think it's a country.
they're literally just two apartment complexes.
Yeah.
Not even like an actual country.
It doesn't really matter to the story, but they're a big political figure. And the two spies, the other two Marx brothers, this is their kind of comedy moment.
Ciccolini and Pinky are here.
Ah, these are my spies. Show them in.
This didn't hit for me that hard. I'm just going to be honest.
Really?
It was like 60-40. 60 it hit.
We fool you good, eh?
40, it just kind of was like...
Please be seated.
Rock-a-bye.
Gentlemen.
I mean, to be fair, there's so many jokes that 60-40 there's still a lot of good jokes in there. But there's just so much all at once that I was kind of getting like... It felt like an SNL bit that has a really good concept, but it just kind of keeps going, and you're like, all right, they clearly didn't know how to wrap this bit up. There's a reason Groucho is the most famous of the four. All I'm gonna say.
Okay, fair. That's crazy. I thought they were hilarious, especially because I think it's Ciccolini that is the one that doesn't speak.
Switch flip flop.
Pinky.
And honestly, the one that doesn't speak is probably, oddly enough, the most annoying to me.
Yeah, it's no good.
I was gonna say, I felt like he had to be a lot more involved in his physical comedy because there was no speech there. And so much of it is this like back and forth tongue in cheek that he has to keep up with physical comedy.
That's fair.
So that to me was I was impressed that he could keep up in those scenes with being as ridiculous and making me laugh without having like a phrase to go off of or like dialogue.
Yeah. No, and I will say, I'm it sounds like I'm being harsh. They are very funny people. Like, they're clearly hilarious people. And like Ciccolini is very witty, but I will say he's not as witty as Groucho and doesn't seem to really have the same presence.
Yeah.
So I think having Pinky or whatever, I don't forget what their real names. I think it's Harpo and
Harpo and
Chico Marx. Yeah, okay.
Ciccolini's Chico.
I think they kind of do work well with each other. Honestly, it reminds me of a Penn and Teller. I wonder if that's where they got their bit from.
You know what? Now that you say that, I get especially because like Penn and Harpo are kind of have a similar like look to them, and other than the fact that Chico is not like over 6 feet tall. Yeah. Again, the dark hair, a little bit longer, like.
Yeah, kind of constantly getting frustrated with him, and always, come on, what are you doing? It's. I have a similar vibe.
I would love to find out if they were influenced at all by the Marx Brothers. That's super interesting.
This is spy stuff.
To be fair, this is just what I wrote as a note that was kind of my like unbiased opinion, was just that the spies are drifting between being hilarious and very funny and a little bit annoying. I think it's just a dated form of physical comedy that really doesn't work for me.
Okay, that's fair. One of the lines that Ciccolini has that just fucking killed me was when like he takes it and he reads and he gets mad. He's like, why is he mad? He's like, he can't read.
He gets mad because he can't read.
I think I paused it and rewound that because I was laughing so hard I missed like the next two jokes. I had just seen this note and I didn't want to forget it. I don't know if you had noticed, but when they were like singing in the beginning, I think it's Groucho just has his mouth open going like, ah. While everyone else is singing, he's just, ah.
I didn't catch that at all. So yeah, well, I guess we haven't said anything about the plot.
I was gonna say, you didn't talk about the introduction of the spies, because the introduction was hilarious.
We fool you good, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Because even I was like, fuck, that the double thing got me. I was
him
like,
like
all right,
standing backwards with like a mask on the back of his head,
with
or something.
a mask on, with a fake beard, and he's like, we fooled you good, eh?
That was a good introduction.
Yeah, they go downhill because they're very incompetent spies.
Yeah, which is the whole point, and I get that. And the idea is that he's hiring them to spy on Fredonia to figure out what Rufus T. Firefly is up to, and really his main goal is he wants to date Tisdale. He doesn't even really care about political power. Like, he does a little bit, but he mostly just wants to go out with that woman. And Firefly keeps getting in the way because she clearly has a thing for him. It reminded me a bit of like Airplane and those kind of like later comedy movies. It's just that they're not extremely clever jokes. There's there is lines like that, especially with Groucho and stuff like that, but specifically
Groucho's got, I think, a lot more of those where it's like, oh shit, like there's like a few layers to the joke where, like, okay, for example, one of the ones that like I found funny, but I see what you're saying, where it's like it is just a joke and then you move on, like where he's like, okay, so what did you do? Well, he went here and then he went here and then he went here and then what did you find out? We followed the wrong man.
Yeah, like, exactly. And
which,
that is
like,
funny.
Again, that's hilarious. Don't get me wrong, that's hilarious. But once you hear it, you're like, that's hilarious. Okay, you don't have a lot of layers to go with, and also he's an octopus. Like, what?
Yeah. No, because me and Audrey watched the most recent Naked Gun. Now that I mention this, which spoilers.
Wait, don't, because I've never seen the Naked Gun, so.
Now I was going to say spoilers for Neon Valley. It may or may not be the suggestion for this week. We'll see. Because it kind of lines up with this movie in a way. And I think it'd be a fun little back-to-back. Because it's made by the people who made Well, actually, it's not. It's meant to be a nod to the old Airplane movies, and it's a remake of Naked Gun that had... I was about to say Liam Neeson, but that's who's in the most recent. Leslie Nielsen.
Liam Neeson.
Which is ironic.
That's a very similar name. That's hilarious.
Which I think might be part of the joke as well. I think they might have done that on done that on purpose. But
if they didn't, then God, I hope they did, because that's fucking genius.
But that movie has so many jokes that are like, each line is a setup for the next line. Where this, like you said, is just more of like setup joke. There isn't, yeah. Kind of hard to explain the difference, but
Here, have a cigar. That's a good quarter cigar. I smoked the other 3 quarters myself.
So the lemonade stand scene.
Is it the lemonade stand next, or is it the town hall meeting?
It's the cabinet meeting. It's his cabinet meeting, not town hall meeting.
Oh, cabinet meeting.
It is the cabinet meeting next. Which, oh my God, the cabinet meeting had me fucking dying. He starts with, okay, any old business, and a guy brings something up and he goes, no, that's new business.
We'll take up old business. I wish to discuss the tariff. Sit down, that's new business.
And they're like, okay, no old business. He goes, okay, moving on to new business. Any new business? And the guy brings up the same point. He goes,
We'll take up new business. Now about that tariff. Too late, that's old business already. Sit down.
that shit is so funny. His delivery is the cigar, the whole, oh, dude. One of my favorite
the
comedians.
vibe of him is like what
Groucho
sells
Marx aura off the
jokes.
charts.
Yeah. It would be insufferable to be around in real life, maybe for like an hour. If you're at a party, it'd be really fun. But I could see it. It would be, but it is so fucking funny as this character. It is the best thing ever. Like his line where there's 2 in a row I have to mention. I'm just gonna spitfire him. But when he says there's somebody hands him a report and says, it's a little hard to understand, so just if you need someone to help you out, just let me know. And he goes, please, a 4-year-old could understand this. And then he leans over to the guy next to him and says,
Run out and find me a 4-year-old child. I can't make head or tail out of it.
this one might not make sense over an audio show, so if you're just listening to this, I'm sorry. I hope the inflection makes sense enough. But he says, we got to start looking for our new treasurer. Another guy goes, you assigned him last week. And then he rolls up his fist and goes,
That's the one I'm looking for.
yeah, it feels like the kind of scene that was written before the concept of the movie. Like, this was the bit. Like, he wrote this scene and then was like, all right, we can make a movie out of this. Like, this is hilarious.
It's we expand from here, because it's just so solid. Every joke is perfectly placed, and again, his delivery is unmatched.
But that does lead into the lemonade stand. Them outside of the business, or the government building.
All the time in a split. What do you think he do? He make a fight to go like this.
Hey, what's the idea?
Oh, that's not my idea. That's his idea.
And they're trying to find this guy, and this is probably around the point where you were also finding Harpo to be more annoying. So
a little bit.
Yeah. This I figured. So Chico is talking to another vendor. He's got like food or something, and he's asking like, "Hey, do you know this guy?" And while he's doing that, Harpo's just fucking with him. He's like trying to go in his pockets and do all
like
this
sniffing
crazy
his
shit.
pocket. He keeps scissoring shit. That did make me laugh. The scissoring shit is funny. Also because it feels so dangerous. Like, he kept getting so close to people's scalps and just
And it looked like they were like real scissors. So like, I'm like, I really hope they only had to do like 1 or 2 takes of this.
No, that was funny. That got me.
The interaction that I loved was it's kind of that perfect like 3-person like argument. So the vendor is mad that he is not being listened to by Chico, and Chico's like, yeah, that guy won't listen to me. He won't say nothing. And he's like completely deflecting like all of the frustration the vendor's trying to place on him to Harpo instead. And the whole time Harpo doesn't give a shit. Harpo's just fucking with this guy and taking his shit and oh.
That did make me laugh because it's straight out of an Always Sunny scene. Like, that just feels like Like they're even
like Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
It would be
there's
Charlie, and it would be.
There's a behind the scenes. I know this isn't an episode about Always Sunny, but this I think is so funny is that during a scene they were walking down the street. In the script, they had like Dennis and Mac talking about Charlie. They're like, what are we gonna do with this fucking guy? It's like, Charlie, what is wrong with you? And then he ad-libbed himself. He was like, yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do with this guy. And they were like, wait, we're talking about you? Like,
I don't think he's understanding.
I don't think he is either.
You know, we'll use different words.
We'll hammer it home later. Let's move on for now.
I don't think he gets us, man. That's the problem. I don't even think he gets us, man.
We're talking about you.
So they were like, wait, this is good. We're going back and we're recording this again.
Just them really fucking with the vendor, which I will say that one, if there was any gag that I felt like went on for a bit, it was that one. But the hat gag was, I think it's also a bit of a showcase of talent because it's all timing, right? Like as he takes it off, he's swapping his hats. And they did it so smooth without cuts. There was no camera cuts.
I gotta give it credit. Upon recollection, the fact that these are all like mostly one take, if not maybe two takes, maybe two.
I mean, because think about like the way the scene is set up. Like, I really don't think they had a lot of like chances to redo a bunch. So again, when I'm taking like that into account, I'm like, did they kind of drag it on a bit? But what they're doing is so impressive. I'm like, I can't even be mad at it.
It's entertaining to watch to a degree. Like you said, it does drag on a little bit. I even did literally write the hat scene is going on a little too long. Ciccolini and Pinky end up inside at some point. Because I know like Pinky is like showing off his tattoos to Groucho. Like Groucho's asking him, Ciccolini starts working for Groucho, right? Because he just charges into the office and then like...
And he says, congratulations, you're my new Secretary of War.
Yeah.
Because they come in during I think it's during the cabinet meeting.
I think
or it's like a meeting right after.
Yeah. Oh, doesn't he see him from outside the window and he's like, hey, you get up here or something like that? It's something like that.
You want to be a public nuisance?
Sure, how much does the job pay?
I've got a good mind to join the club and beat you over the head with it.
Peanuts!
After the hat gag was the scene where Groucho's like, ask Chico a riddle, and then he flips it on him.
What is it that has 4 pair of pants, lives in Philadelphia, and it never rains but it pours?
That's a good one. I give you 3 guesses.
Now let me see. Has 4 pair of pants, lives in Philadelphia. Is it male or female?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, that's a good question.
And he goes, oh, that's a good question. He starts trying. He's like, I have no idea. He's like,
well, if you don't know, then I don't know.
Chance.
Which, to be fair, is a pretty funny commentary on, like, again, if we're saying this movie was made in the era to be a kind of political leaning movie, it is kind of funny to have this like war of intellect, but they're both idiots. You know, and they're acting like each other is genius. Like, yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that. You know, like Pinky is in the room. It's like the hall with Groucho, and he's asking him questions. He's like, "Oh, well, where are you from?" And then he like shows a tattoo of his home, and he's like,
I will say the tattoo shit's hilarious because like every question he asks, he has a tattoo response.
Say, who are you anyway?
But the one that like not only killed me, but I think I actually had like a little bit of a jump scare, which like horror movies don't even do anymore.
Where do you live? Meow.
So again, 1933, they edited in a dog onto his chest of the tattoo. Like,
no, the comping was weirdly good for the time period. I was genuinely surprised.
Shocked at that. But yeah, that actually jump scared me because I was not expecting that. I did not remember that from being a child. That probably gave me nightmares.
Okay, so I think after that scene is when they get into, if they're at kind of some kind of like beach club, I think they're in Sylvania, right? Like for some party or some get together. And that's where the leader of Sylvania and Groucho have their tiff, which sets off the war, which I do have to point out. Again, if I'm harping on kind of like if I'm harping on the plot of the movie at all, he comes up to a woman, which I believe is Tisdale's friend. There's this whole thing where he keeps trying to set a different woman up. Yes, with Firefly.
Yep.
And he sits down with her and says, every time I get her in the right mood, Firefly just pops in. We have not seen that happen at all. Like, literally throughout the movie, we have never seen him interact with Tisdale. So it's a weird beat for the movie. It's almost like they had to remind us, like, hey, this is that guy's motive, because we haven't done that at all for the last 30 minutes. But again, it's from 1933, right? So plot-heavy elements were not exactly, like, standards yet. So
there weren't a lot of Scorsese's out and about in 1933.
But the war being started over a glove slap and him just calling him an upstart is fucking hilarious. That shit is so funny. What'd you call me? I'm getting a little lost in the weeds of my notes here, but the twins learn that there's a safe with the plans for some kind of plans, yes, right, for Fredonia?
Or it was their war plans. I think they were just calling it their war plans.
Okay. I believe this is the part where this twins break in, right?
Yeah. Harpo kills me in this part. But yeah, that's when we get to that, like, yeah, one of my favorite parts. So Key's in his room, Tisdale's in her room, and Harpo sneaks into... No, it's Chico first. Chico sneaks into his room while he goes to the bathroom and locks him in.
Yes.
He then puts makeup over his face and puts on the same outfit. Then he runs in to pretend to be him.
Yeah, which is funny to think that he does look exactly like him because they're both wearing the same paint. Like
they all three of them looked so goddamn close. Like height was the only thing that changed because that outfit with the paint was perfect.
Yeah, the nightcap and all that. It was really funny. And that's the mirror bit was really good. It was really impressive. Again, maybe it went on a little long, but it's almost like they wanted to show what they accomplished by having this bit.
Man, like going back through it again, it's one take, and there's only one part that isn't mirrored, but I think it was intentional.
There was like one or two parts.
Spin,
when he doesn't spin and just keeps looking at him,
and he doesn't spin, and he watches him. Like the hat swip off. I rewound it like 7 times to see, can I catch it? I realized when, because he goes to a part where you can't see because his arm is lined up with the wall. So that had to have been when, but there's nowhere on the camera that you can see the hat swap happen. The part though that like I was like, this is fucking hilarious. They walk, like they circle each other through the camera or through the mirror.
Yeah, and he still doesn't question it at that point. Like he's still.
It's like that was enough for him to be like, I figured it out.
So the workers of Fredonia are demanding shorter hours. Very well, we'll give them shorter hours. We'll start by cutting their lunch hour to 20 minutes.
So anyway, Ciccolini gets put on trial.
Dude, the Ciccolini trial, I was fucking rolling.
Which at this point in the movie, I remember I was literally thinking to myself, isn't there a war happen? Like, what has happened? Like, what?
Doesn't matter.
This man's case moves me deeply.
I object. I object. The back and forth. I don't know. I thought those clips were fantastic.
An abject figure.
I object.
A pitiable object. Let's see you get out of that one.
No, they're great. Especially, I think Groucho and Ciccolini should have been in it together more. I feel like they work really well together. They can match each other's energy.
I think he does better when he's around Groucho because he's having to match that energy.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a brother rivalry there where he probably wants to be funnier than him, and they probably want to be funnier than each other. So
I remember what it was. It was him making odds that they find him guilty. He was like, I got a bookie that'll do 100 to 1 or whatever.
Lady, I bet you 8 to 1 we find you guilty.
That's no good. I can get 10 to 1 at the barbershop.
How much of this do you think was improvisation too? Like, I'm sure they wrote out a lot of it, but do you think they were also just trying to make each other break with certain lines and that they didn't plan for?
It's hard to say because so much of this requires physical comedy that requires coordination. And they actually went through like 2 writers. They paid one of the extras, I guess, to go up to the writers and tell them they all sucked.
Wait, the Groucho brothers paid an extra to go?
Yeah. I guess to them, like, I don't know if it was like, listen, we are making art, and it's like Tommy Wiseau, where like, listen, you're just in their realm and you're gonna choose to be there or not.
Sometimes it works. It does hop around a lot too. I will say there's not many different sets.
I was gonna say, even some of my notes, I'm like, I remember this, but like this room is used for like 3 different scenes.
Yeah. So I'm like, when did it happen exactly? Because one of my notes is like the scene where Groucho is gassing himself up.
The right hand of good fellowship. And I feel sure that he will accept this gesture in the spirit in which it is offered. But suppose he doesn't.
Arguing with himself over something that the Sylvanian leader didn't do.
I hold out my hand and he refuses to accept it. That'll add a lot to my prestige, won't it?
And he's like, and I reach out my hand and what? He doesn't shake it? How dare he? He doesn't shake my hand? What an asshole. Like, he just goes on this rant.
Well, wait, but I think before that is, or it might have been right after that, is when they do their second song about like them going to war.
It's
and then,
right
like,
after that. Because
the chandelier falls on Harpo.
Yeah, it's right after that because they agree to not go to war. And that's when they're all laughing and, oh.
Little thing I called you. Why, what did I call you?
Gosh, I don't even remember what it was.
But that's when they go into the musical number, which this is just a common theme, I guess. It went on a little long. It's impressive. It's extremely impressive, especially for a musical number. And this is coming from a guy who loves musical numbers.
I think then it kind of jumps to them actually like fighting, and they're bunkered down because Sylvanian has advanced, which one of my favorite lines in this.
Look at them run. Now they know they've been in a war.
Your Excellency.
They're fleeing like rats.
But, sir, I've got the trick.
Remind me to give myself the Firefly Medal for this.
Your Excellency.
You're shooting your own men.
And when he's talking to the guy, when he tells him to go out and buy trenches for them, and he's like, get them this high and the soldiers won't need pants.
Wait a minute. Get them this high and we won't need any soldiers.
Yes, sir.
Oh, dude, the image of that missile flying through the window.
Oh, I thought too, I was like, can I see the string it's on? What?
I don't know how they I'm assuming it was just on a string that they like send it down a line, you know what I mean?
Fishing line or something. Yeah.
I was like, it's moving so slow. I wish that this war scene wasn't so compacted into the last like 10 minutes. Like they really rushed through it because I think they could have had some hilarious jokes. Because I feel like it really just rushes through that. Because I forget exactly what happens, but he like calls for backup.
Help is on the way. Yeah.
Yeah, help is on the way. And then it's just a bunch of random shots of people running through the streets and then like rowboats.
Random people. Like it was like a Family Guy like cutaway gag.
Dude, it was the 1930s equivalent of like stock footage. Like I don't know where they got this footage from, but it's just like random.
But it's just some people. Also, there's one point where a chair falls when they're stacking the furniture and barricading it up.
Oh,
a chair falls, and I'm like, I think that actually, because if you notice, he actually like jolts, but he stays in character.
When they were doing that stuff, I was getting a little anxious. I was like, can you guys calm down? But that's it. All kind of leads up to they start infiltrating the building, and the leader of Sylvania just kind of gets like stuck in the door. Like,
Hey, Trentino!
Trentino, eh? That's game.
I felt like it was the perfect way to make it ridiculous. Yeah. So Sylvania's leader, and I don't remember if it was just like his head or something like that, or like his torso.
He was almost set up like an old medieval,
like the gallows.
Yes.
Or whatever they're called.
Whatever those things are called. Tourniquets? No,
he's
that's
stuck
not
like
it.
that. And the funny part is, like, at this point, you're pretty much given the idea that your forces have been entirely defeated. He's just walking in as a formality. But because he got stuck,
just start pelting him with vegetables.
They just start throwing fruit at him. Like, it's...
And like, to their credit, I think they did a really good job at making it look like they were throwing it as hard as they could, but like missing.
Call me an upstart, huh?
There was a couple times where I was just like, oh shit, like
that's
they're
an
really
onion.
pelting.
You know, not to bring this full circle, but they couldn't help themselves, and they had to land on that last joke of Tisdale starts singing the national anthem, and then they all just start throwing vegetables at her, and they're like, "Ah, shut up, you bitch, you stupid woman." You know, they didn't say that, but they might as well have.
And that's really just how it wraps up. There's no explanation or,
it fades to
any
black.
like.
They're throwing vegetables at this woman while she's singing, and it fades to black.
And she's not like trying to dodge it or anything. She's just singing.
It was a lot funnier than I was expecting, hands down. I knew that Groucho had it in him. Clearly went on to inspire like Penn and Teller and like some major hitters of like the Airplane movies and stuff are so clearly inspired by this type of comedy. I think it's a little mean-spirited at times, of course, but like most comedy is. I mean, like shit, 90s comedies are like more mean-spirited than this is. So
again, there were so many parts of it that like the mirror gag, the tattoo scene, even like the hat gag, like the physical comedy that they do in this. Like I don't feel like we see that at least in like the movies that have been popularized. This level of, and maybe the new Naked Gun that you're talking about does have that, and I'm very much looking forward
maybe
to
not to this extent, of course, but it actually does go to that level of like there's a few physical comedy jokes that are like really funny and like do match on that level. So yeah, I am very happy that you suggested this, especially the fact that it's almost 100 years old. It's crazy to think now that there are movies that are a century old that we can revisit. And there's a podcast called Sardonicast. It has a couple guys who review movies and stuff. It's like a movie review show. And there's a guy on there called Adam from YMS. And he said that they were reviewing the original Nosferatu, which came out in like 1910. Like it's over 100 years old now, you know.
Damn.
And he said it was crazy to think that we're going to start having people whose favorite movie could be 100 years old. Like if somebody's favorite movie is Duck Soup, like I couldn't like argue with them. Like, yeah, I might not agree. I might be like, yeah, there's better movie. But if that's their favorite movie, sure. So it's like there's going to be people out there whose favorite movie is 100 years old. And that's insane to think. Like we're reaching to the point where movies are becoming like paintings and other forms of art that have transcended decades and centuries. It's really cool.
Wow. Oh yeah, I hadn't thought about that. That's amazing.
Yeah. With that being said, 6 out of 10. No, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
Don't you fucking dare. No, just the fact that, to your point, like we can have a podcast reviewing movies now that are 100 years old. Oh man, that to me is just I hadn't really put it in my mind like that. So yeah, that's crazy.
I wonder how Groucho Marx would feel about a couple of jerk off 30-year-olds talking about his movie and me saying that the pacing is bad. You know, he's probably like, shut the fuck up.
I've been glazing him, so he gonna love me.
You thought the pacing was bad. Your mother's pace maker was working overtime last night. You know, when I was,
I mean,
no.
Fucking like textbook.
I was joking, but it's not that much better. I give this a solid 7 out of 10. Like with the context of history and everything, and from a modern lens, I give it a 7 out of 10. I'm sure if I was 25 in 1933 when this came out, it would have been a 10 out of 10. Or if I saw it when I was a kid, you know, because I have some Abbott and Costello movies that I consider 10 out of 10s that are up on this level of comedy and camp and like, you know, old.
Oh yeah.
You know, for me personally, 7 out of 10 is a really good movie. Really fun.
This is definitely a 10 out of 10 movie for me. This is one of my favorites. I'm surprised I haven't actually revisited it as much, but I think the way I'm watching the movie now is much different. As a kid at like 5 or 6, when I was like really introduced to this, I wasn't catching all of those extra lines or the wordplay. Like, I literally love rappers that can do double, triple entendres with crazy meaty metaphor wordplay. And like, this movie was the physical version of that in a comedy form. Like,
it really is a lost art form in film, isn't it? It's interesting.
The comedy is a lot more subtle. Again, if you're not paying attention to the fact that this is wordplay, like this is taking a phrase and having an expected setup, giving you the same answer, but an entirely different situation.
Yeah, like a perspective that you weren't expecting or whatever, you know, quote unquote.
Yep.
All right, we'll wrap this episode up with my final suggestion. This is the last episode. This is my final suggestion. No, my next suggestion for our next episode.
We're bringing Don Tron on as the new.
I almost, knowing me, I almost want to do a rug pull because I hinted at Naked Gun before, so I'm like, should I not do Naked Gun? But no, I think that would be fun, especially comparing it to this movie because it has a very similar vibe. So this could be a fun conversation to have. So yeah, we will be watching, and again, this is a remake, so make sure to pick the 2026 Naked Gun. Not, or 2025, even maybe, not the 1987 Naked Gun or whenever the fuck the original one came out.
Got it. The 1432 Naked Gun.
Yeah. If you watch the movie and you're like, why does it look so grainy? You're watching the wrong one. Probably, why does everyone have big fluffy hair and listening to synth pop? You're watching the wrong one.
If they don't have smartphones, you're not watching the right movie.
You're watching the wrong one. But anyway, if you guys don't want to be spoiled for Naked Gun, make sure to watch that before our next episode. This has been the Neon Valley Podcast. Thank you all so much for joining us. Mitchell, do you have anything you want to tell the people before we go?
You can pre-save my new song, Deep End, dropping June 12th.
Thank you. I was hoping you would do that. Otherwise, I was going to plug it for you. All right. New music coming from Tsuku.
Produced by Skorge.
I don't know that guy.
And I was pointing up because that's where he is on my camera. Joseph moving over.
Oh, we're not side by side on your camera? That's confusing.
No, I had it stacked. I did. Listen, things happened. It got really scary for a second.
Yeah. That's how I like them. Anyway, we will see you guys in the next episode. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.